quick a lawyer for a minute. You need to be very careful what you say to these people, because if you choose to hire a lawyer, whatever you tell your lawyer is going to be confidential, because you have an attorney-client privilege with your lawyer. And there's kind of like a cone of confidentiality around you, and your lawyer can't tell anybody what you tell her, and that would be a private conversation that you're having. So what you don't want to do is go have a strategy session with your lawyer and then share the details of that, say, with your therapist, and your therapist is maybe taking notes. And I've seen this happen before when someone goes to their therapist and kind of says, here's what my legal strategy is going to be. And then later on in the case, maybe for some reason or another, that therapist's records get subpoenaed, and now all of a sudden we've got our whole legal strategy laid out in a therapy session. So if you have a lawyer, you need to be very careful and talk to your lawyer about confidentiality and what you can and can't share with your friends, or what you would want to and not want to share with your friends and your divorce team. So when you're thinking about your divorce team, you don't want to, come back out of your lawyer's office and say, we're going to send subpoenas to these people and do this, that, and the other, necessarily, if that's a confidential conversation you've had with your lawyer. But you certainly can talk about your feelings and how you're going to process your way through the whole divorce process. So that would be your divorce team, and you want to let your lawyer know kind of the people that you're confiding with. And you want to be also very careful about how much you share about your situation with people in your community, and here's why. Nobody wants to be the woman who everybody comes to the soccer game and says, don't sit next to her, she's going to spend the whole time complaining about her ex. Decide who you're going to talk to and try to keep a tight group of people that you share this information with, so that, and here's what you don't want. You don't want to go sit next to some woman in a soccer game and blurt out what's going on in your divorce and have that woman show up on your husband's witness list when it's time for trial, and now you realize that you sort of, shared all kinds of confidential information with someone who may or may not be on your side, or, maybe she doesn't even want to be subpoenaed, but she ends up getting subpoenaed. So you need to be careful about that. Well, anyway, we're going to have a whole section on divorce team here in this video series, talking a little bit more about that. Another thing we're going to talk about is having a vision for your divorce. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but I think it's really important, as sort of in any endeavor that we do in our life, that we kind of think about it before we get there and take a look and see how we want it to turn out. Like, how do we want to be in a year after the divorce? Or how do you want to process your way through this? What kind of person do you want to be? What values do you want to express? Even though you're in this really horrible situation called divorce, it's an opportunity for you to be a certain way and to hold a vision for yourself. And that's the vision that you want to share with your team. And so as you go through this process, if you can hold this vision of yourself, like if it's really important to you to not throw mud at your ex, then when you get to that place where you're so mad because he said something so mean about you, you want to go back to your vision and try to remember, how do I want to be in this situation? So my goal for you is that you could be empowered, and that you could learn as much as you can about this situation, and that you can sort of take this information and use it to your benefit, and use it in a way that makes you decide how you want to be in your divorce and how you want the process to go. And then I thought it might be helpful just at the end, I might just mention, if you're interested, a little bit about me. I'm a divorce lawyer, but I wasn't always a divorce lawyer, and I wasn't even always a lawyer. Back about in ancient history, a million years ago, I was actually a labor and delivery nurse, and I loved it. It was the best thing ever. But I just decided I wanted to get a career where I'd have a little bit of more autonomy, and I wasn't quite so stuck in such a regimented situation as you are when you're a nurse. So how come I went from being a labor and delivery nurse to a divorce lawyer? And here's what I've learned, and it just struck me in the past couple of years, is that, and I think this is why I like doing divorce law so much, is that going through a divorce is not completely unlike going through labor and delivery. Bear with me, it sounds really crazy, but think about it for a minute. If you've had a baby, maybe you can relate to this. When you're in a divorce, you're in a situation that is really scary, and you have no control over what's going to happen in a lot of ways. I mean, you're in a situation and you can't stop it. You're in it and you're going to go through it, and there's no way it's usually going to stop, which is kind of like when you're in labor. And the best thing that anybody can do for you at that point is to be supportive and give you as much information as they can about what the process is going to be, because it's a lot less scary if you know what to anticipate. And that's why people go to, birth classes. So this is sort of like a birth classes for going through a divorce in a funny way. And I'm really kind of serious, is that it's less scary if you know what to expect. So when you're in labor, you're in a situation, it's scary, you're in a lot of pain, you're looking for anybody to help you that can help you, you're reaching out for people and you're trying to get the help that you need to get through the process. And when you are in labor, at the end of it all, you end up with a really cute baby, and then this all turns into a very foggy memory. But what a lot of people don't realize and hadn't really thought about, and I'd never thought about it until recently, when you go through the divorce process, at the end of that, you end up kind of like giving birth to a new life. And I think that's why being a divorce lawyer has resonated with me so much, because my job is very similar. It's taking really complicated information, trying to put it in a way that is understandable to people who are under an incredible amount of stress and who are in terrible pain because they're going through a transition that's really life-changing and really scary. I like being able to take complicated information and break it down into usable pieces so that people who are scared and overwhelmed can somehow grasp onto some of that information, make the process a little bit easier. So my hope for you is that you're able to watch this series, you're able to let me know if you need any more information. Like I said, I can't give you information specific to your state, I can't be your lawyer, I can't give you legal advice or any legal information, but I'm going to help you issue spot, and I'm going to try to help you spot every single issue that I can think of so that you can make it through this process with as much empowerment and as much bravery, and in a way that you can kind of go through it and feel proud about how you handled yourself.